Nog stilte. Councillor Vivas. Councillor Vivas, are you in the house? Tama Fortuin.
Very good morning, Speaker. I am present. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Welcome to the club. Councillor Furnace, hy het verskoning gemaak. Councillor Gous, good morning. Are you in? Seems to me not yet. Hartje Groenewald. Gaat het Annie Jansen van Rensburg?
Goedemorgen, Speaker. Ek is in.
Goedemorgen, gaat het Annie? Gaat het Kamfer? David, is jy met ons? Councillor Marilyn Kannemeyer.
Goeiemôre, Speaker teenwoordig.
Goeiemôre, raadslid. Councillor Lechava, Peter, are you in?
Speaker?
Morning, Speaker. My apologies, Speaker.
Of Councillor Gous and Councillor Groenewald.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Speaker. My
Speaker.
apologies, I was struggling with the mic.
Thank you. Councillor Malompo. Thank you, Councillor Malompo. Raadslid Erika Meyer. Erika, is jy met ons?
Ek is in, Speaker. Ek is net goed besig om te sukkel met my tyd, maar ek is in, hoor, Speaker.
Baie dankie. Councillor Thabo Mvumvu.
Good morning, Speaker. Thank you. I'm in.
Raadsame Reuters.
Teenwoordig, Speaker. Goeiemôre.
Goeiemôre, Toos. Baie dankie. Mama Jules.
Teenwoordig, Speaker. Goeiemôre.
Goeiemôre, Julia. Raadslid Leon van Dijk.
Ek bevestig my teenwoordigheid, Speaker. Goeiemôre aan almal.
Goeiemôre, Raadslid van Dijk. Daar is nog 'n paar name wat ek voorwag. Ons het nog so 2-3 minute voor ons gaan begin.
Speaker, Councillor Baron, Freedom Front Plus.
Councillor Baron, ek het ongelukkig jou oorgeslaan want ek het op 'n ander plek begin is en ja, baie dankie daarvoor.
Okay.
Onderburgemeester is, ek neem aan jy's daar.
Môre Speaker, môre kollegas.
Goeiemôre onderburgemeester.
Speaker, môre is Marie de Klerk. Ek het ook so 'n bietjie gesukkel vanoggend, maar ek is hier.
Baie dankie Marie.
Ek sien 'n gesiggie op my. Ek sien 'n gesiggie hier op my skermpie. Daar's hy nou weg.
Ja, dit is ons prediker vanoggend. Ek sal haar net nou aan die voorstel. Marie, kon jy van hulle nou optel wat ek gemis het, wat nou nog nie vir my aanduiding gegee het nie? Kamfer, Bandesi. Fifasa het ek ook nie gehoor nie. Lichaba het ek ook nog nie gehoor nie, maar hy sal daar wees. Ek het hom gesien. Maar jy hom gesien buite. So Lichaba kan jy aanwesig merk, hy is hier.
Lichaba is Speaker.
Yeah, I've noticed you, Peter. Thank you very much. Councillors, it's 9 o'clock and I want to start the meeting. If you give me a few seconds. And in our midst this morning, we have Pastor Elizabeth Alexander from Bethel Ministries, and she will bring the sermon to us this morning. Good morning, Elizabeth, or Pastor Elizabeth. We would like to hear what you will bring to us. Ek kan aangaan, dankie.
Ons sluit ons oë en ons gaan eerstens die Here nader vanmôre om hierdie vergadering onder die bloed te hou. Amen. Vader, in die wonderlike naam van die Here van Nasaret, Ons eer U vanmôre in die grootheid, ons loof, ons prys en ons aanbid U. En Here, U wat was en U wat is en U wat weer gaan kom. En ons verwelkom die Gees van U Here in hierdie atmosfeer en in hierdie vergadering vanmôre. Maar eerstens kom vra ek, Here, dat U ons moet kom reinig, heilig ons, want U is 'n rein en U is 'n heilige God vanmôre. Ek wil eerstens vanmôre vir U kom sê baie dankie vir U se groot genade wat ons in hierdie môreuur opgewek het. Genade het ons deurgedra. En vanmôre sit ons hier in die raad in die bovertrek. Halleluja. Onder die geklank van U. Here, en ons sê net vanmôre vir U baie dankie vir U se genade. Here, ons verwelkom U, Here, in hierdie atmosfeer. En ons sê vir U dankie omdat ons weet, Here, dis wat U gaan lei, verder lei, sal dit goed wees. Ons gee vanmôre hierdie vergadering in die bekwame hande van U. En ons glo vanmôre, Here, U is wie U sê U is en U is in beheer. Jesus naam. Amen en amen. Halleluja. My skriflesing is vanmôre, halleluja, uit Daniël 7 uit, halleluja. Prys die naam van die Here. U weet, terwyl ek genader word om hierdie raad te open in 'n woord van gebed. En ek sê, Here, dit is vanmôre vir my 'n goddelike voorreg, halleluja, om vanmôre in die bovertrek in te kan beweeg, om saam met die raad te kan vergader, en om vir hulle te kom sê dat die Here is nog dieselfde Jesus. Hy is nog dieselfde God van liefde, die God van Abraham, Isak en Jakob. Maar eerstens wil ek vanmôre van die geleentheid gebruik maak, halleluja, om vir ons raadslid, halleluja, ons burgemeester, en elke raadslid wil ek vanmôre begroet, halleluja, in hulle kapasiteit vanmôre. Ek eer die Here vanmôre, dit is nie 'n reg nie, maar dit is vanmôre 'n goddelike voorreg om in die teenwoordigheid te kan inbeweeg, om vanmôre vir U te kom sê dat hierdie raad as 'n fondasie is goed gelê. Prys die naam van die Here. Ek wil sommer oorgaan na die woord van die Here toe. Ek wil vanmôre net sê en doen wat die Gees van die Here op my hart gelê het. Halleluja. Prys die naam van die Here. Jy weet, wanneer ek kom by die werke van die Here, dan sterf ek die menslikheid af en ek is net gefokus op dit wat die Here vanmôre wil sê aan hierdie raad van Mossel. Jy weet, eerstens wil ek hierdie raad saluut, halleluja. Ek wil die burgemeester saluut, 'n mooi dorpie wat die Here uitverkies het, halleluja. Jy weet, maar eerstens, voor ek oorgaan na die woord toe. Jy weet, die gedagte wat die Here sterk in my gees geleer het, is toe Jesus in die bovertrek saam met sy disippels was, halleluja, was daar ook Judasse, prys die naam van die Here. En die Here het gesê, iemand van julle sal my verraai, prys die naam van die Here. En jy weet, en ek kom by hierdie profeet uit. En dit is vanmôre waar ek sal staan, vanmôre by hierdie profeet Daniël. Die Bybel sê dat hy 'n voortreffelike gees gehad. En die Here wil vanmôre sê, ek moet vir die raad van Mossel sê, dat dit tyd kan word dat ons voortreffelike gees te moet hê. Halleluja, 'n gees van liefde, 'n gees van verstandhouding, 'n gees vir omgee, prys die naam van die Here. Maar die grootste daarvan is 'n gees van liefde, prys die naam van die Here. En hierdie profeet, halleluja, Daniël, hy het 'n voortreffelike gees gehad, en hy het 'n roeping gehad, halleluja, en net soos elkeen van ons, en selfs as die raad 'n roeping het vanmôre, het Daniël ook 'n roeping gehad op sy lewe, en hy was 'n siener, net drome gehad, en 'n spesifieke dag aan het Daniël gedroom, halleluja, van die 4 winde van die hemel, wat die groot see in beroering gebring het. En weet ek stil vanmôre by hierdie gedagte, dat soms is daar winde in die raad, soms is daar storms in die raad, maar ek wil u vanmôre bemoedig, die storms moet daar wees, halleluja. En ek wil vanmôre vir u sê, dit is hoekom vanmôre sê die Here, hou goeie moed, want ek het alreeds die wêreld geoorwin. Ons is niemand gevrywaar van storms nie, halleluja. Daar moet storms wees, in 'n huishouding, in 'n raad, in 'n bediening, moet daar winde wees, maar ons moet hierdie winde kan hanteer, halleluja. En ek wil net so 'n kort gedagte bring van hierdie diere, 4 diere wat uit die see uit opgekom het, wat Daniël gesien het. Hy sê die eerste dier wat uitbeweeg het, was 'n leeu gewees. Halleluja. En die Bybel sê dat hierdie leeu het 'n vlerke van 'n arend gehad. En hy sê, en hy kyk in die gees, en dat hierdie vlerk, halleluja, het begin te breek, en hierdie vlerk het het afbeweeg op die aarde op, en hy het kom stil staan op sy 2 voete, halleluja, het hierdie leeu, en aan hom is 'n mens se hart gegee. En ek vra Gees van God, dat U net hierdie gedagte van my sal oopmaak. En jy weet, in die gedagte kom by my, halleluja, 'n leier van hierdie raad vanmôre. En soms is dit nie almal wat vir jou is nie. En dat die Bybel sê dat bedrieglik is die hart bo alle dinge. Maar God wil vanmôre hê dat ons moet van ons troontjies afklim. Halleluja. En ons moet kom word 'n gees van eenheid, 'n gees van gesindheid, halleluja, 'n gees van liefde. En die Here sal vir ons 'n gees, 'n mens se hart gee, sodat ons mekaar, sodat julle mekaar kan verstaan, halleluja. En hy sê dat die tweede dier wat uitbeweeg het, halleluja, was die van 'n beer. En die Bybel sê dat in die tande van hierdie beer, halleluja, was daar 6 ribbes gewees. En hier was vleis in en aan hom was gesê, eet eie vleis, halleluja. En jy weet die gedagte wat die gees van die Here my bedien, dat baie keer, dan kou ons mekaar, halleluja. Ons kom vroom voor, ons is vir mekaar se wagte, en ons sê, ons is lag met mekaar in die raad, ons lag met mekaar in die munisipaliteit, maar dan is ek ook hulle wat mekaar kou. En die Here sê, hy soek nie die gesindheid in die raad nie. Prys die naam van die Here. En hy beweeg na 'n derde een, en dit was 'n luiperd gewees. En die Bybel sê, dat hy het 4 vlerke gehad, soos die van 'n voël, halleluja, en het 4 koppe gehad. En ek vra Gees van God, dat U met vir my oopmaak, wat hy vanmôre vir die raad probeer sê, aangaande hierdie dier. Baie keer die 4 koppe beteken, halleluja, ons het soms so baie kennis, ons het so baie wysheid. Jy weet, ek wil nie gesê wees nie, prys die naam van die Here. En selfs wanneer ons 'n opdrag kry, dan wil ons die voorganger, ons wil die burgemeester, ons wil sy planne in die wiele ry. Ek wil vanmôre vir u sê, dat die Here sê ons moet afkom. God soek vanmôre 'n raad van nederigheid, halleluja. En die 4de dier wat opgekom het, die Bybel sê dat hierdie dier het nie 'n naam gehad nie. Hy het net vertrek, hy het verslind, halleluja, en hy het skerp tande gehad. Ek wil vanmôre vir u kom wegbring hierdie boodskap om te sê dat ons moet oppas wat by ons se monde uitkom. Prys die naam van die Here. En ek die gedagte kom by my op, halleluja. Ek moet vir vanmôre vir die raad kom sê, halleluja, dat ons met Mosselbaai met ons op 'n berg sit, halleluja. En ons met Mosselbaai aanskou, halleluja, in 'n geestesoog, halleluja, sodat die heerlikheid van die Here oor Mosselbaai kan skyn. Prys die naam van die Here. Mosselbaai is 'n geskiedkundige dorpie, 'n dorpie waarvoor die Here baie lief is, maar die Here wil hê, dan moet 'n eenheid wees, dan moet 'n samewerking wees, 'n samewerking wees, en die Here sal selfs, prys die naam van die Here, vorendag kom, halleluja, om hulle wat nie vir julle is nie, uit die weg te ruim, halleluja. En nog 'n laaste gedagte, wil ek vanmôre sê, as die vrou baar, en haar baar is siek, dan kan sy nie baar nie. Halleluja. As die raad van Mosselbaai se baar siek is, dan sal hy nie kan baar nie. As die baar siek is, halleluja, dan kan die raad nie floreer nie, want dan is hulle siek. En ek wil vanmôre vir u kom sê, halleluja, die Here sê vanmôre vir die raad van Mosselbaai, dat julle met eensgesind kom wees. Behandel mekaar met liefde. Maak mekaar se rug toe in Jesus naam. Ek wil vanmôre vir u sê, al wat ons kan doen, ons kan maar net bid. Gebed dra krag. En is net gebed, halleluja, wat Mosselbaai kan hou. En wanneer Mosselbaai saam staan, en wanneer 'n raad saam staan, halleluja, dan moet God hoor uit die troonkamers uit, halleluja. Want hy sê dat die gebed van 'n regverdige, dit dra krag. Hy sê wanneer die raad gaan roep na Jesus in die troonkamers in, halleluja, dan sal sy mond naby hulle wees, en hy sal vir hulle deurkom. Ek wil vanmôre vir die raad van Mosselbaai, wil ek sterk bemoedig, kom ons wees mekaar se draers, halleluja, se wagte, prys die naam van die Here. Kom laat ons mekaar toemaak, sodat ons 'n gesonde raad kan hê. En ek wil vanmôre vir die raad sê, moet nooit julle hakskene lig vir julle burgemeester nie. Dis baie gevaarlik. Halleluja. En ek wil vanmôre sê, wanneer die stryde en die probleme kom, kan ons maar net na hom roep, die volëinder van ons geloof. Ek wil vanmôre sê, daar sal probleme kom, daar sal stryde kom, maar wees vanmôre gewaarborg dat ons is nie gevrywaar van enige stryd nie. Daar sal probleme in die raad kom, maar ons moet met hanteer, soos wat die Here wil hê ons moet dit hanteer. Ons moet hom roep en hy sal antwoord en hy sal elke weg, elke fout sal hy uit die weg uitrem. Prys die naam van die Here. Ek wil hê vanmôre dat ons moet net afkom. Die Here wil hê hy soek 'n raad van nederigheid. Nederigheid, hy sê hy het gekom vir die nederiges. En wanneer ons begin te saam staan, en ons is nederige groep, halleluja, dan werk God op sy beste. Halleluja. Ek wil vanmôre elkeen, ek wil vanmôre die raad van Mossel wil ek salute. Halleluja. Omdat ons die dorpie met die mooiste dorpie in die Suidkus, halleluja, in die Weskaap, is die mooiste dorpie. Maar wat vermag dit? Is saam staan in gebed en die Here seën. Amen. Prys sy wonderlike naam. Ons gaan net vanmôre hier die boodskap afgee. En ons gaan vanmôre afsluit. En ons sê net vir die Here baie dankie. Halleluja. Vader van die Allerhoogste. Here, ons gee vanmôre vir U al die eer. Ons gee vir U vanmôre al die prys. Ons gee vanmôre vir U al die lof, die aanbidding. Want daar is vanmôre niemand soos U nie. Here, U is die grootste raadsgewer. U is vanmôre in beheer van hierdie raad. En ek wil vanmôre vra, Here, dat hierdie raad vanmôre U in alles eerste sal stel, Here. Wat hulle sal aanpak, Here, dat hulle U eerste sal stel. Ek wil vanmôre die guns van die Here oor die raad toespreek vanmôre. Ek wil vanmôre vra vir 'n gees van wysheid, 'n gees van eenheid, 'n gees van liefde en vanmôre 'n gees van nederigheid. Halleluja. Wil ek toespreek vanmôre oor die raad. Halleluja. En ek wil vanmôre net vir U kom sê baie dankie. Ek wil vanmôre vra dat U dit wat uitgegaan het, dat U vanmôre hierdie woord sal seën, Here, en dat U Heilige Gees vanmôre die naprediker sal wees van U se eie woord vanmôre. En dankie, Here. Hulle wat nog daar is, Here, bring hulle af op die laagte en gee vir hulle vanmôre 'n mensehart. Bid vanmôre die vrug van die Gees oor die raad en sy mense toe, Here. Ek bid vanmôre vir Mossel. Ek bring Mossel na U toe, my God. En ons plaas vanmôre Mossel op die berg. En dankie, Here, dat die heerlikheid van U oor Mossel sal skyn in Jesus naam. Ons gee nou alles in die bekwame hande van U. En ons glo vanmôre soos wat U verder hierdie vergadering gaan lei, sal dit goed wees in Jesus magtige naam. Amen en amen.
Speaker, Councillor Gosia, may I speak?
Sorry, there was a short delay in the sound, I suppose. I will go back to 3 applications for leave of absence. I received the application from Councillor Mark Furness, whose father passed on in these days, and I don't receive anyone else. Having said that, I want to go to disclosure of interest in terms of Schedule 1, Code of Conduct for Councillors in terms of the Local Government Municipal Systems Act, Act 32 of 2000. Is there any one of the councillors that can be linked to any one of those points in the agenda? It's now time to raise your hand. I see a hand of Councillor Gous and I see a hand of Alderman Barney Groenewald. Councillor Gous?
Thank you, Speaker. My hand was actually raised regarding the sound, but that has now been sorted. And then also Councillor Comfort contacted me on WhatsApp now to say that he's in, but he can't hear much about it. So I'm not sure if there is a problem with the sound and if IT can perhaps just contact him quickly. Thank you, Speaker.
I think I've overcame the problem, and I've said it on the 67% the sound at the moment. I think that will be ample. The next one then. Councillor Groenewald.
Thank you. Good morning, Speaker. I think we just also need to record our Executive Mayor, Alderman Levendal's leave of absence due to his leave. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alderman. I've missed that one, and thank you for helping me out. Is there anyone else that you can aware of? Okay, then.
Speaker.
Yes, Councillor Peter.
Firstly, I'm present. And secondly, Councillor Bubelo just told me she had a serious problem. I don't know whether she's going to have a light stroke or what, but she told me and saying, hey, she's very sick. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Peter. Councillor Peter, I want to have a discussion with you afterwards. Keep it in mind, please. At Roman 4, I haven't had any names that been linked to one of the agenda points, and so as far I'll go then to Roman 5, disclosure of benefits in terms of Schedule 2, Section 5, Code of Conduct Officials and of the Local Government Municipal Systems Act, that's Act 32 of 2000. Is there any one of our officials that can be directly linked to one of those points of the agenda? It's time to raise your hand, please. There's no hands. Gaan ze 'n bietjie op vir my, asseblief, Tersia. Councillors, I'm at Roman 6. Dankie, is right. Confirmation and signing of previous council minutes. It's the minutes of the ordinary council held on Thursday, the 25th of February, 2021. Folio number 83A up till 363. Do I have a proposer and a seconder that we can take cognizance of it? Councillor, do we still have a sound problem?
Thank you, Speaker. I propose that we adopt the minutes as being correct, and congratulations to the Secretariat for an excellent minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman.
Thank you, Speaker.
And it's been seconded by Councillor Anton de la Main. Thank you, councillors. Then I'll be at Roman 7, cognizance executive mayors and deputy executive mayors resolutions in terms of delegated authority as provided for in section 59(1)(a) of the Act on Local Government Municipal Systems 32 of 2000. I'll go through it. Items number G4, A03 to 2021 to G10 of 3/2021. The next one is numbers FC11 of 3/2021 up till FC16 of 3/2021. The next one is CS4 of 3/2021 to CXS6 of 3/2021. Then PE24 of 03/2021 to PE39 of 3/2021. The next one is T6 of 3/2021 up till T10 of 3/2021. Item numbers CG8 of 3/2021 up till CG11 of 3/2021. Items number E50 is 03/2021, and the next one is items number UB2 of 2/2021 up till UB4 of 02/2021. Can I have a proposer and a seconder that we can take cognizance of this?
Dankie Speaker. As
proposed for cognizance by Councillor Anton de Lemaine. Do I have a seconder?
Ek sekondeer Raadslid Leon van Dijk, Speaker.
Seconded by Councillor Leon van Dijk. Dankie, Leon. And the next one, Roman 8. Cognizance Municipal Manager resolutions in terms of delegated authority as per Council Resolution E127 of the month of 11th month of 2008, as provided for a section of 59(1)(a) of the Act on Local Government Municipal Systems Act 32 of 2000. I bring to you GM9 of 02/2021 up till GM14 of 03/2021. Voorsteller en 'n sekondant, proposer en 'n seconder that we can take cognizance of Roman 8. Kan ek net hoor?
Thank you, Speaker. I propose.
Proposed by Councillor Anton de Lemaine. Seconded by?
Ek sal sekondeer Speaker Leon van Dijk.
Baie dankie, Leon. And then the next one, communications, the executive mayor, Alderman Lewendal, and I want you to change the acting executive mayor, Alderman Dirk Coetzee. Mayor, you can proceed, please.
Speaker, thank you. Yes, hopefully next month the mayor will be back. From my side, Speaker, good morning to you and colleagues. Before we start with the meeting, I just want to share my and this council's condolences with my friend and fellow councillor Mark Furness, who this week lost his father. Mark has huge shoes to fill, as the Furness family has left an indelible imprint on this community, not only as esteemed business leaders, but as compassionate people in our town. We wish you strength, Mark, and go well in this difficult time. Then, Speaker, regarding the social side, fire report. We've lost 2 dwellings, one in Daiwilly Street and one in Steenbras Street, and 2 people in each dwelling has been affected due to that. Then regarding the clean audit report for 2021, as the acting executive mayor, on behalf of this council, I would like to thank the municipal manager and the whole administrative team for their hard work during the 2021 financial year. We really appreciate it, and yes, you make us very proud. So yeah, keep up the good work, and we are proud of our administration. Thank you very much. Then on the special budget allocation towards renewable energy, I'm proud to announce that Mossel Bay Municipality is one of the 6 towns in the Western Cape to receive a special budget allocation for renewable energy. This allocation will allow us to create employment opportunities and bring much needed stability to the unstable Eskom electricity supply in Mossel Bay. It is especially welcome news for our endeavours to revive our local economy. Not only did COVID-19 have a devastating impact on the economy and our local entrepreneurs and businesses, but the recent load shedding further impeded business. The Municipal Energy Resilience or MER project will help municipalities to generate, produce and sell electricity to help protect our community against load shedding and to take advantage of new energy solutions to generate, procure and sell their power to become more energy secure. Mossel Bay Municipality thanks the MEC of Finance and Economic Opportunities, Minister David Maynier, for availing 48.8 million rand over the medium term and provide a further 20 million in the provincial reserves for the MER project. The MER project will allow Mossel Bay to take advantage of the new energy regulations to generate, procure and sell our electricity so that we may become more energy secure. I also would like to thank and the team. One of our items today is item E75. That's an energy or more sustainable energy report. And that sets the tone for energy independence towards 2030. So, thank you. I know you've put a lot of work into that report, and also thank you to the help of other colleagues, especially also Director Naidu. We appreciate that work. Then the upgrade of Louis Fourie Road, the long-awaited upgrade of Louis Fourie Road is one step closer. The Provincial MEC of Transport and Public Works, Minister Bongikosi Matikizela, has confirmed in writing that the Western Cape Department of Transport and Public Works has allocated funding towards the 21-22 financial year for the upgrade of the second phase of Louis Fourie Road. Louis Fourie Road is a provincial road, and the Mossel Bay Municipality has learned that the tender for the work on upgrading the road will be published soon. The municipality has therefore already requested the provincial government that local labour should, as much as possible, form an important component of the development. That is very important, and that letter is on its way. If all goes according to plan, the tender advertisement will be published in April, and the successful tenderer appointment will likely follow by about October. The phase 2 upgrade is estimated to take about 3 years, depending on the successful contractor. Most of the improvements involve the realignment and widening of Louis Fourie Road between Boland Park and Garrett Street, where most of the bottleneck congestion occurs. This part of the road will also take the longest to complete. Many of the underground and other services must be reallocated, and expropriations will also have to take place. The phase 2 project also includes a 40mm asphalt pavement from Marsh Street to Hartenbos. Improved pedestrian traffic in the Sonskyn Valley area will be a welcome reprieve from the provision of a new sidewalk. At the Langeberg Mall exit from the N2, a proposed circle will ensure improved traffic flow from the from the freeway. Alternative access to the shopping centre via Depot Road will also prevent congestion. As the project progresses, the community will be kept informed of developments, including the likelihood of stop and goes. So yeah, we can say each other, there's going to be a bit of work in town for a few years, 3 years maybe, and obviously we can make ourselves ready for some complaints in that regard, but obviously we must keep the massive benefit not only to our infrastructure, but also the capital inflow into our town and possible job opportunities that will far outweigh the complaints that we might receive. Then lastly, Speaker, the mayoral service delivery roadshow will commence on the 30th of March. We will start in Joe Slower at 2 up to 4, and the rest of the program will be communicated as soon as I receive it, or as soon as it's finalized, and then the ward councillors will also be invited. Thank you very much, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Alderman Kotze. Thank you for the lot of speed you put up on the dial, and a lot of work that's been done, and all the communication between us and the province begging for money. Unfortunately, all of those answers came back with a negative connotation to it, but you've planted the seed, and thank you very much for that one. When I come to the communications of the speaker, we've had 2 people that have the becoming of age in this time, and that was Councillor Furness on the 1st of March and Councillor Leon van Dijk on the 29th of March. And then you mentioned Mike's father. I think Mike, not Michael, Mark's grandfather was a councillor in Mossel Bay as well. And they are to the family, my condolences. And I read in the paper this morning, one of our colleagues from Hesekwa in the previous session, Councillor Joan Prince, she passed on as well, and I want to send my condolences to her family as well. And then there's quite a lot of people that I've got on the list. I'm not going to read all these names. I just want to bow our heads for a minute or so for silence to pay. Yeah, we should stop at Moelman. Thank you very much, yeah. Thank you very much, Tertia, for rolling this up. And I ask you to bow your heads in. Chancellor Chaba, I see your hand before we go on. You got a
Yes, Speaker. Yes, I just wanted to have clarity on what the Deputy Mayor just made mention of the Louis for re-upgrading project. Whether you remember the people requested robots before we stop that goes straight to the graveyard. So is that also included in that upgrading of that project of Louis for re? Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Chaba. We will not have a discussion on Louis Fourie Road this morning. What we will do is, and we will set up a meeting with the councillors in due time, and so that we can discuss the whole matter. Otherwise, there's no time for going into all the detail. I promise you, we will set up a meeting for that one. Councillor Gous.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I'd like to just request that the ANC councillors perhaps space themselves apart to such a degree that we don't have that constant ringing. I can't make out, you can make out very little of what they're actually saying because of that noise that's accompanied with them whenever they speak, because I think, sitting too close together with their tablets. So it really makes it very difficult to follow what the ANC is saying in council. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. I think I know what the problem is. I back at the condolences, and I want you to bow the head for a minute, please, in silence for those people that passed on in this time. Thank you very much, councillors. Then I want to conclude my session. I want to use the words of our Director Janches. He said, you must remember the virus don't go on holiday. Seeing that we've got the Easter weekend on our hands, and we've learned that there might be a shift in up to phase 2 again. I'm not sure about that. That was rumors that I've read in the papers. Please, councillors, look at yourself. As I repeat what the Director Jan just said, you must remember that virus never goes on holiday. Thank you, Colin. And then I will start at E51, the Honours Bylaw bestowing municipal honours on 364.
Speaker.
Meneer Kamfer, goeiemôre. Ek het al verneem na jou. Baie dankie. Ons sal jou teenwoordig aanmerk.
Dis reg. Dankie, Speaker.
Dankie, Kamfer. E51 Honours Bylaw bestowing municipal honours. What we will do is we will discuss this morning And by the next meeting, if it's positive, and I believe it will be positive, we will bring in those people that honors have to be bestowed to the council, and we will not do it. Well, it will be virtual, but they will with us in council, and we will put them onto cameras for everyone to see what we are doing. And I need a proposer and a seconder for E51 for the honors bylaw bestowing municipal honors.
Thank you, Speaker. I
Speaker,
propose.
allow the ACDP
Thank
to
you,
really
Speaker.
preempt this
Speaker, my hand is
and
up.
propose
I
this
propose.
item.
Speaker,
It's for Councillor Gous. Just hold your breath a while. It's been proposed by Councillor Anton Delamain. Do I have a second?
Yes.
A seconder?
thank you, Speaker. I second it. Thank you.
Seconded by Councillor
Annie.
Gous.
Speaker, it's.
I couldn't. Councillor Anneke,
Speaker,
can you just put off your mic, please? I want to have a chat with Councillor Gous. Councillor Gous, I didn't hear what you said in the previous round. Can you please repeat?
Thank you, Speaker. My apologies. Yeah, we were all speaking over each other. That was my fault. I actually was going to propose the item, but now that it has been proposed and seconded, may I just say that the ACDP commends these two gentlemen, Wade Shaw and Paul Barnard, for really almost laying down their own lives in order to save others. And we are extremely grateful to have people like this in our community. And so we wholeheartedly endorse and support the awarding of municipal honours to these two gentlemen.
Thank you, Councillor Gous. Then, as I said, these two gentlemen will come into council chambers for the next meeting so that we can look them in the eyes when we give them the honours. Volgende een asseblief, Tertia. E52, honours bylaw again, bestowing of municipal honours. Kan ek 'n voorsteller en 'n sekondant kry? Do I have a proposer and a seconder for this one as well?
I propose, Speaker, it's Leon van Dijk.
Proposed by Councillor Leon van Dijk. I see a hand from Councillor Delamain. Councillor
Thank you,
Delamain.
Speaker. Honor, I will second it.
Seconded by Councillor Anton Delamain. Then E51 and E52 carry through as unanimous votes. Thank you very much, councillors. Then I'm at the Code of Conduct Committee for councillors. We've had meetings of the Code of Conduct, and they were acting people, and now we're back to the normal schedule. You've read through it and you've seen all the recommendations. Can I have a proposer and a seconder for this one, please?
Thank you, Speaker.
It's proposed by Witness Buddha, and I do have a hand.
Yes,
Just
Speaker,
give me-
I would like.
Councillors, I've got a hand of Councillor Gous. I will first listen to the hand that was put up, and then if there's something else, I'll come back to you. Councillor Gous.
Thank you, Speaker. I will wait for the process to continue. I think you're still waiting for a seconder, and then I will speak. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Alderman Cliffy Byman. Sorry that I've muted you. Councillor Byman.
No problem, Speaker.
Speaker, I second. Councillor Buddha.
Councillors, please. The longer we on this way of doing things, the more people do their own thing. We can sing along with, but we cannot talk along. Give me your hand, but don't shout in between. That's rude of you. Councillor Cliffy, can you come again?
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, can we just get to the other names, please? I'm missing a name here of Councillor Van Dijk. Am I? Jesus.
Okay, stel het voor, ons het nou onder bespreking vat. And it's been proposed, and do I have a seconder? Then I put it on the table and we can have discussions on that. Can I take you as a seconder, Alderman Payment?
Yes, Speaker, you may. I am seconding it.
Okay, thank you, Matt. And then I'll open that's open for debate. I see the name of Councillor Malompo. Councillor Malompo.
I was seconded, Speaker.
Thank you. It's been seconded. Thank you, Councillor Malombo. I'm back at Alderman Groenewald and Cliffy Bayman and Jeanette Goos and Boyson's hands up. I'll start from the start and I'll give you a chance, Councillor Groenewald.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Now, I would really like to say that I would like to pass on the baton as chairperson and give somebody else an opportunity to occupy that position. And my sincerest thanks for all the cooperation that I received in the past from our fellow officials and my fellow councillors. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor. You heard that Councillor Groenewald said he will pass on the baton. Then Cliffy, Councillor Bayman.
Thank you, Speaker. Thank you very much, Speaker. Speaker, with cognizance of what Alderman Groenewald just said, I would like then to although the proposer with a agreement of the proposer, I would like to just confirm through you, Speaker, whether Councillor Leon van Dijk will be available to take up this position as chairperson, and then I will go forward. I just want to confirm his availability, Speaker.
Councillor Leon, are you available?
Yes, Speaker, I can and will make myself available if required.
Thank you, Councillor van Dijk. Councillor Bayman.
Thank you, Speaker. Thank you, Speaker. With that, then I would like to propose with a agreement of Councillor Buddha that we then accept and propose Councillor Leon van Dijk as the chairperson of this committee. Then, thank you, Speaker.
It's been proposed. Do I have a seconder for that proposal? Councillor?
Speaker, I second it.
Seconded by Councillor Boyson, am I right? Okay.
Yes.
Before we go any further, I had a hand from Councillor Goos. Councillor Goos.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I have no objection to the chairmanship of Councillor van Dijk. I believe the committee will be in very good hands. What I would like to object to is that once again, this is another committee that the council has filled with only DA and ANC representatives when there are actually 5 parties in council. Only 2 parties are represented on this committee. And for that reason, the ACDP will abstain from accepting this item and its recommendations, Speaker. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Councillor Goos. I've seen a hand of Deputy Mayor Alderman Kotze. Alderman Kotze.
Speaker, yeah, I must just reiterate again the reason for that is the proportional representation. Obviously, it's the same as our elective system. So in terms of the amount of people that voted for a party, that same proportional representation is reflected within the committee. So that just seems democratically fair within our dispensation.
Thank you.
Order, Speaker.
I see a hand from good morning, sir, but I see a hand from Councillor Lechaba. He will be the first speaker and you will be the next one. Councillor.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Thank you very much, Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. I really understand what Councillor House is saying that we are 5 parties here. You know, I propose that Councillor House nominate someone, and then from his party, and then my second that. You see, that's the reason why Councillor House you cannot be part, because no one is seconding your party. If I propose Councillor Buddha, we're going to put second and we vote. So, Speaker, Councillor House must just accept. We accept the recommendation that came with DA.
Councillor Lichaba, I'm not going to take that proposal. Let me first have a discussion on it, or a meeting, and otherwise I might make this mistake, and rectifying a mistake is far worse than waiting a while. So I will not take your at the moment with your. Do you understand why I said so? Yeah. Okay,
Mr. Speaker.
Yes,
Councillor Baron.
Councillor Baron, I've had Councillor. Just 1 second, Councillor Comfort, hand was up. Comfort, wil jy nog iets sê? Dan is dit stilte, jy's reg. Raadslid Baron, jy kan ook kom.
Chairperson, I want to make another proposal. I want I see the opposition parties, except for the ANC, we are not even secondis. So we are not part of this council anymore. So I want to make another proposal, and I say we must add the 3 parties, the opposition parties, except for the ANC. Both the ACDP and Freedom Front Plus and DICOSA must be added to this committee. That's my proposal, and I'm looking for a seconder, because I disagree with this.
Okay, do I have a seconder? That's now, I've now go otherwise than what I promised, Councillor.
Speaker?
Do I have a seconder?
My apologies, I hadn't raised my hand. Speaker, Councillor Gous, ACDP, I will support that motion. I'd also like to thank the Deputy Mayor for his explanation, but I'd like to draw his attention to the fact that proportional representation works on percentages, and the other 3 parties represent 11.1% of the council, and yet we're not represented in NPAC and we're not represented in this committee. So if we're looking at proportions and proportional representation, then at least one of the other parties should be in those committees.
Speaker.
I don't want to raise my hand in a mathematical discussion. Councillor Comfort.
Speaker, now I want to agree with Councillor Gous. I think it was not necessary for the Deputy Mayor to say that, because we are also councillors in this town and people voting for us. It's not about you are 50, the other one are 1. We are part of this council, and we want to play a role in this council. So I don't want to be in the committee, Speaker, but I think the attitude of how the Deputy Mayor said that I think it's very bad. And I fully agree with what Councillor Gous is saying. And as I said, I'm not available of this committee.
Councillor Comfort, I want you to withdraw that.
Okay, Speaker.
Thank you very much.
Speaker, sorry, I want to raise my hand, but my left. Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I'm sorry, I want to apologize that I see that, but I will consult with the IT after the meeting, because my laptop is not showing me the hand signal sign. Mr. Speaker, I want to make a call. I heard that the ACDP is saying that no, Councillor Baron is saying that the ANC must be removed in this code of conduct committee, and that they themselves, which is the ACDP themselves and the other party, other smaller parties,
all the smaller parties be members of this committee. I want to make a call and say that.
Councillor Bandesi,
Speaker.
I think you missed something. That wasn't the way that was said by the councillor, that you have been to remove. They want to be part of it. If there's anything else you want to say, you can go on now.
Okay, Speaker. Then I misunderstood. I thought they would say we must be removed. No, it's fine then, Speaker. I want to suggest that nicely, Speaker, that because here we are not discussing how the composition of the Code of Conduct Committee must be. We are discussing the replacement of the councillors. One of us which we passed on, and then one from the DA who now resigned. So that's the discussion. We have submitted a name of how we want that the replacement on our side, and the DA is submitting a name of a person that must replace a person who has been the chairperson on their side. So that is the item. It's all about that. So if I want to suggest that if the parties, the other parties, the smaller parties, want this composition to be changed, this system to be changed, they must submit a motion in the next council meeting, or maybe go and make sure that they fight elections in the coming elections and become majority in this council. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bandesi. Unfortunately, I have no, not unfortunately, I've got a hand. I only see it now. Alderman Kotze.
Speaker, thank you. Yes, I just want to thank Councillor Gous for refreshing my mind again. I must just also remind that, yes, he was quite correct. The 11% representations he referred to, which qualifies for 1 seat representation per committee. She's quite correct. So what we asked is for the 3 small, I don't want to call it also Nyana parties like Councillor Bandesi, but we've asked the smaller 3 parties to come up with a name, and that, as far as I can recall, never happened. And there's that because the 3 small parties couldn't reach an agreement, that is why the seat's been taken up.
Speaker, thank you, Mayor. First of all, I just want to thank Alderman Kotze, our Deputy Mayor, for the respectful manner in which he engages. It's unfortunate that Councillor Bandesi doesn't do the same. I agree with him, but on the Impact Committee, the reason why the parties felt that we would all like representation is because it is such a critical...
Councillor Gous, we're not at the Impact at the moment.
Okay, sorry, just because I know that that is... Okay, I will do. Speaker, regarding this committee, may I then request that we follow Councillor Bandesi's proposal, and then the 3 other parties will then take a look at putting in a motion, making a request for representation on this committee. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, councillors. What we will vote on now is that Councillor Groenewald, or Alderman Groenewald, would pass on the button, and Councillor Van Dijk says he is available. So what I want you to vote on, that the changes is now Van Dijk instead of Councillor Groenewald, and are you did we vote or not vote? We don't actually have a vote proposal against it. But at first, are you satisfied with the change? I've heard some noises. Yeah, that's fine. Is it fine with anyone that Councillor Groenewald and Councillor Leon van Dijk can be interchanged then? When I hear nothing, I suppose I'm right. And then...
yes, Speaker, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine.
Thank you, Councillor Buddha. Councillor Buddha, then we will wait for the proposal or the whatever you want to put on the table by the next meeting. This one will then carry through as an unanimous vote. Thank you very much, councillors. Next one, Tertia. Replacement of councillor representatives. Little up, please. The recommendation that Councillor van Dijk replaces Alderman Kotze. That's now on the airfield. Deputy Mayor of Mossel Bay Aero Club and special rating area external bodies. The next one is that external bodies be provided with Councillor van Dijk's information as a representative of council. Then the third one, that a composition of the airfield working committee is confirmed as follows and remains unchanged. The members there, Councillor Delamain, Kotze, van Dijk. Can I have a proposer and a seconder that one carries through?
Yes, thank you, Speaker. It's Barney Groenewald. I propose that we accept the recommendation as presented. Thank you.
Proposed by Alderman Groenewald, seconder.
Nicholas Boysen, I second it.
Seconded by Councillor Nicholas Boysen. Anyone against? No one against.
Speaker, can I say something on this point? Speaker, Councillor Baron, can I say something on this point?
Councillor Baron, just 1 second. Tersia, kyk net bietjie terug asseblief. Okay, Councillor Baron, you've got the floor.
Speaker, I don't have a problem with this point on the agenda. Maybe just an explanation for the fact that Mr. Kotze and Mr. van Dijk make a change. Is there any specific reason? Thank you.
I don't want to answer on behalf of the Deputy Mayor, but I think he's overloaded with work at this point of time. Councillor Gous, your hand. Councillor Gous.
Yes, my apologies, Speaker. Sometimes the tablet is not as cooperative as what I am. Speaker, though, I also want to concur with Councillor Baron. I understand if we could just have a formal answer regarding what is the reason for our Deputy Mayor wanting to step down from these two specific committees.
You must just check on it. It's only part 1 and part 2. The third one, he stays part of it. So yeah, Deputy, do you want to answer on this one? Maybe Deputy is on his own at the moment.
Speaker.
Councillor Chaba, yes.
Yes, sorry, Speaker. The item is clear. The Deputy Mayor resigns from this committee, and the other Councillor van Dijk is taking over. That is an internal process of the DA, of which we have got nothing to do with that. If it was an open one, would have said no. You know what I'm saying. In the same token, when we came here with an item, when the item came here of MPEC, it was a decision of the ANC who's going to be a chair. So what I'm trying to say, please, let's accept what the internal processes of other political parties think.
Thank you, Councillor Chaba. Councillor Boysen, I'll give you a chance. I see the hand of the Deputy Mayor. I will first listen to the Deputy Mayor, please. Deputy.
Speaker, I think Councillor Chaba has given a good answer. It's our internal rules, and from time to time we are not vastgevang in committees. We change. We give all of our people. We give our people chances to sit and learn in other committees. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Boysen.
Speaker, can I say something?
Alderman Kotze, do you want to reply on that one?
Speaker, yeah, sorry. No, it's just the mayor's got various people representing him on various platforms. At this stage, my plate is just a bit full, and Councillor Leon is already involved in this ward and with the CID stuff, so that's why I thought that he can just help me at this stage. And at the Aero Club, he's also in the place of Councillor Len, who was also involved there. So it just made sense for me to ask him to help while I'm struggling to cope with all the work at this stage. So that's the reasons.
Thank you, Deputy. Councillor Gous, then Councillor van Dijk.
Yes, thank you, Speaker. I just want to thank our Deputy Mayor for the transparency. Perhaps the ANC can take a leaf out of that book. And then secondly, I'd like to just state that the reason the ACDP asked for the short-sighted ANC councillors' information is because we wanted to know if there was perhaps a conflict of interest. So thank you for the transparency. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Councillor Gouds. Councillor van Dijk.
Speaker,
Councillor Peter.
Speaker, I demand an apology from Councillor Gouds, saying the councillors of the ANC being short-sighted. It's unfortunate for the ACDP because it's only one councillor. So if they want to make a change, there's no way. It's not going to be the same as the ANC and the DA. So she must stop coming up with using words that will insult, that will feel we're going to be insulting us. Otherwise, we'll do the same. You cannot say short. Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor, and then say for and lambast on short-sightedness of ANC councillors. That's not on. That's uncalled for. She must apologize for that. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Chaba. Councillors, I know we're heading up to an election, but this is not a boxing ring. Please, let's go through this agenda and do the best for the town and not the best for each of us. Ek het nog gratis Van Dijk, Councillor Van Dijk.
Speaker, thank you. Thanks for the confidence. I'd just like to highlight in the point 1 of recommendation, the surname of Alderman Kotse is spelled incorrectly. So if we can just change that while we're busy. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. Yeah, I've missed that one. Thank you, Councillor Leon. Councillor Nicholas Boyson, do you still have something to say?
No, Speaker. I will lower my hand now.
Thank you very much. Councillors,
Speaker?
Councillor Bandesi.
Speaker, I just want to congratulate Mr. Councillor Van Dijk for being appointed to that committee, and also want to say that as my chief whip has said, it is unfortunate for the ACDP that they are only 1 year, so they can't change committees. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Bandesi. That ends this discussions on this point, and then it carries through as an unanimous vote. Next one, Tertia, the unanimous vote was on E54. Then I'm at E55 of the month of March of 2021, long-term borrowing process. I suppose every one of you read through it. And can I have a proposer and a seconder for this one to carry through? Councillors, proposer and a seconder, please.
I will propose, Speaker, Leon van Dijk.
Thank you, Councillor Leon. Being proposed by Councillor van Dijk. Do I have a seconder? Someone out of the finance?
I'm seconded, Speaker. It's Councillor Anneke speaking.
Seconded by Councillor Anneke. Is there anyone against? If there's no one against, it carried through as an unanimous vote. Thank you, councillors. The previous one was E56, and I'm now at E55, sorry, E55. I'm now at E56. Supply Chain Management Monthly Report for deviations approved in January. Can I have a proposer and a seconder?
I
on the
propose,
supply chain
Speaker.
management?
It's Councillor Anneke.
Proposed by Councillor Annie Jansen van Rensburg. Do I have a seconder?
Yes, Speaker, I will second it, please. Thank you.
Seconded by older lady Marie de Klerk. When I hear silence, I in E56 carry through as an anonymous vote. E57 is a monthly report with regards to supply chain management for the month of January 2021. Do I have a proposer and a seconder?
Yes, Speaker.
It's been proposed by Councillor Marie de Klerk.
Speaker, I second. It's Councillor Anneke.
Seconded by Councillor Annie Jansen van Rensburg. Then with a Unanimous vote. It carries through as the decision of this council. Thank you very much. I'm at E58. Monthly report for expenditure section for the period ending 31st of January 2021. I see a hand from Councillor Gous.
Yes, Speaker, my apologies. It was actually raised during the item E57. I just wanted to note with thanks the format of the reporting to the Finance Department. It's much easier to work through and I really appreciate it. So thank you.
Thank you. Otherwise, I wouldn't go back, but seeing you put a feather in our cap, yeah, I will abide with that one. Is ons volgende, wat een is ons by E58, monthly report of expenditure, section for the period ended the 31st of January 2021. Do I have a proposer and a seconder that we can go on with E58?
Speaker, I propose. Councillor
Thank you,
Annie.
Councillor Jansen van Rensburg. It's proposed by Councillor Annie Jansen van Rensburg. Do I have a second?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I will second. Thank you very much.
From out of the Financial Committee, that's been seconded by Councillor Older Lady Marie de Klerk. And when I hear silence, we carry through with that one. 58 is unanimous vote. E59, quarterly report. That's for cognizance again. From Supply Chain Management as at the 31st of December 2020. Do I have a proposer and a seconder for that one?
Yes, Speaker. Marie, I will propose.
Proposed by Councillor Alderman Marie de Klerk, and I've heard, I think it was Councillor Leon van Dijk, am I right?
Correct, Speaker.
Being proposed and seconded, and then it carries through as an unanimous vote. Thank you very much, councillors. Pardon me.
Speaker, my apologies, Speaker. The hand is raised.
Councillor Gous.
Councillor, thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I'd just like to say, after reading the report from the head of supply chain, I note that the staff are experiencing problems with their workload, which is to be understood considering all the legal requirement boxes that need to be ticked in their department. We acknowledge that supply chain is a critical part in the engine of the Mossel Bay Municipality, and therefore the ACDP, after reading the report, taking cognizance of it, would like to suggest that we urgently look at budgeting for extra posts in this department. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much. We take note of that. Councillors, when I've knocked down the hammer, and I don't use it frequently, but I don't want to go back every time. Please, Councillor Gous, if you can respond a little quicker, I will admire that one. I'm at E61 for cognizance again. E60, did I jump? Yeah, E60. So, thank you. It's always pays to have your legal people around you. E60, proposed amendments to the bylaw relating to the refuse removal, PN 6688, dated the 18th of January 2010. When I look on the TV and I see how the other towns and cities look like, I cannot say anything else than thank you, Lord, for living in Mossel Bay, and thank you, Lord, for the people that keep our town clean. Thank you very much. The recommendation that in terms of Section 12 of the Local Government Municipal Systems Act, the proposed amendment to the Mossel Bay refuse removal bylaw attached hereto as Annex A be accepted for public comments. And the next one is that the prescribed public participation process be followed, where after an item will be referred back to council for consideration. Is daar nog, Tersia? Kan je nog opgaan? Okay, that's the recommendation. Do I have a proposer and a seconder for this one?
Speaker, thank you very much. I would like to propose that we approve as per recommendation point 1 and 2. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much. Been proposed by Older Lady Venolia Fortuin. Do I have a seconder?
Our second speaker.
Seconded by
Okay.
Deputy Mayor. I see a hand of Councillor Ghost.
Thank you, Speaker. It's a fine line I have to walk between waiting for a proposer and a seconder and getting my hand up in time. Speaker, I'd like to just say that the ACDP welcomes this amendment, the proposed harsher action against those that are illegally dumping across our town. I had an opportunity to witness that myself a few days ago, and I was just in so much shock. I couldn't believe that the people were just openly dumping. They've cut holes through fences and so on and openly dumping. And I'd like to encourage my fellow councillors. Unfortunately, I never had a camera or anything with me, but that we also encourage the community to take photos when we see this type of dumping occurring, because it is actually incurring costs for the entire ratepayers of Mossel Bay. So thank you for this amendment.
Councillor Ghost, I want to add on what you said. When you take a picture, don't take a picture of the rubbish. Take the picture of the people that throw around all their garbage wherever they go. And then we can go with photos and say, this is the people that waste our money and that waste our time to everything we have done to do it over again. So thank you very much for that one. I would love to see those people's for photos on social media. Alderman Kotze?
Speaker, yeah, I want to agree with Councillor Gous. It's important that we do give through this information. I also want to thank for all the work that's been done. This changes makes way for a lot heavier fines, I suppose, and I know from Liki's side we will communicate that in the media. And then obviously, so on the one side we ask, please don't dump, it's costing our ratepayers a lot of money. And on the other side, I want to thank also the administration for the change at the transfer station. Also in the Directorate of Elder Lady Fortuin, that transfer station also makes provision for the dumping of building rubble, especially I think the huge problem we're experiencing is building rubble. And obviously that building rubble is quite expensive to go and pick it up and go dump it at the correct place again. So thank you for the transfer station. That's the alternative. People can go there now. It will not be expensive. They will be weighed now. I think it was like 10 or 13 rand per ton. It's very cheap. Maybe a bit more. I'm talking under correction here. But yeah, rubble can be dumped at the transfer station at a very cheap rate. And yeah, this will help our residents and especially the contractors that they don't have to travel extensive distances to go dump the building rubble. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Deputy. Anyone else on this? If I don't hear anything, then it's E61 carried through as an unanimous vote. Thank you, Alderman and Alder Lady, for keeping your hand on this item we had. It's beautiful to see how clean town. Then that was 60, and then E61 offered to purchase the goods shed building portion of Earth 12458 Mossel Bay. We all know the goods shed and the businesses that's going on in the goods shed, and now we tried our luck in putting in an offer to purchase. Can I have a proposer and seconder that this action can go on?
Speaker, I will propose.
It has been proposed by Deputy Mayor Alderman Kotze. Do I have a seconder on that one?
Mr. Speaker, I'll second for Acting Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alder Lady Fortuin. It's been seconded. When I hear nothing,
Speaker,
yes,
Speaker,
ma'am.
Councillor Gous. Thank you, Speaker. Just quickly, I don't object to us making an offer to purchase the goods shed. I understand it's to assist business development particularly the small businesses in Mossel Bay. I would like to know, though, do we just have a rough idea of current income? Because I know we are renting the Good Shed from Transnet, but what is our current income from businesses there, or is that being run at a loss?
Councillor Gous, unfortunately, I won't be able to give you that answer. What I do know is with the price we put on as a bait, you can't buy anything. It's almost, if you go to the bigger urban in our town, that will cost almost half of it. And that if we can go through this to buy this, it will be a bargain. I'll ask the officials to give me a number of how much money is being in at the moment, and I'll try to provide you with that one. I myself won't be able to do that. Then carry through as an unanimous vote. Anything else? Sorry, ma'am, I haven't seen you. Ek sien die hand van die MM, Councillor Gous. Just 1 second, please. MM.
Speaker, Speaker, you're quite correct. We don't have that number available immediately. It can be made available. So we will appreciate a written request for that, and we will supply the information. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, MM. I saw the hand of, but I see he removed it. Mr. Yankees, Director Yankees. Anyone else on this one? Then it carries through as an unanimous vote that we will make an offer for the, in my language, the store. 63. Can you go up a little? 62. Seems to me I've missed a number on my book. E62 alienation of a portion of remainder of Earth 2001, situated on the eastern side of existing development of 11567 Fynbos Heights Lifestyle Village, Heiderand, Rotary Village Trust, and there's a lot of. Can you go up, Tertia, please, to the recommendations? I'm not going to read it all. I think it's in the vicinity of 18 recommendations, and I know as able councillors, you read through it. Can I have a proposer and a seconder? I see the hands of Councillor Groenewald, Councillor Cliffy Bayman, and Councillor Lechaba. I'll start with Alderman Groenewald.
Thank you so much, Speaker. I propose that we adopt the recommendation as is, and there's a lot of work that's gone into that, and quite a lot of out-of-box thinking. So I fully support the recommendation, and I would like to propose that we adopt it. Thank you.
Being proposed by Alderman Groenewald. Do I have a seconder for the proposal?
Yes, Speaker. I will second the proposal from Alderman Groenewald. Thank you.
And then seconded by Alderman Bayman. I see a hand of Councillor Petrus Lechaba, and I see a hand of Councillor Gous. That will be the two speakers on this point. Councillor Lechaba.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Speaker, I'm not against the proposal or adoption, but the thing is, during the committee meeting, we proposed that members of the committee of councillors should be taken to the areas where we alienate these portions of land. For instance, you speak of 6.4 hectares of land. We don't know how big that land is. You know, so the committee agreed, but until now, nothing happens. See alienations. There was not even a single day where we could say, all right, we went to Heiderand. Not say we're against, but just when you take a decision, you take an informed decision. Information is very much important, so that the reason we are saying that we want to be on par with everything, when we decide here, we know exactly what we're talking about. So I'm appealing again now to the council, please, if there's any kind of alienation again of a portion of land, what have you, let members of that committee or councillors available be taken even if it's once, and show us this is now these hectares we're talking about, blah, 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 what have you, so that I'm satisfied, everyone is satisfied, you take a decision and inform them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Lechaba. Councillor Goos.
Yes, Speaker, thank you. As Councillor Lechaba has mentioned, this item has come through the committees on 2 occasions, and it has also been presented in Council. All those months ago, I submitted written questions to the Mossel Bay Municipality, and I still have not received answers. So, generally, that isn't the way I've experienced our officials handling questions. Normally, within 3 days, I have replies, but in this instance, unfortunately, we still don't have any answers to the questions we asked. One of the questions that I'd like to know is, I understand we are going to alienate the property for 10,700,000, which will be paid over as houses are sold, or at least within a period of 5 years. Is there going to be an interest that accrues on that amount that will be due by the Rotary Village Trust? And then also, I understand, I see we were promised a presentation as well before this item came to Council. I see now that the item says we will be given a presentation by Rotary Trust after it has gone out to public participation. I'll accept that in the meantime, but if we could just get an answer to the amount of 10,700,000, whether that will be an interest-bearing amount or not.
Councillor Goos, I've just learned that your questions was answered, even the one you sent in yesterday was answered. So please check on that one. Maybe you've missed it. Otherwise, I think you've missed something. The next speaker will be Alderman Kotze.
My apologies, Speaker. May I just quickly interject? The answers from Director Fenter. Director Fenter is very good at getting back to us always. So I immediately received reply from him. But questions that were referred to the legal department, I have not received replies to. Thank you, Speaker. And that I'm certain of. Thank you.
Via the director.
Councillor Goos, Mr. Prince said he gave the answers via the director. So you did receive it. The next speaker, Councillor or Alderman Kotze.
Speaker, thank you. I've heard the request from Councillor Chaba, and I don't think it's an unreasonable request. But I just want to maybe also, the item came back. There's a bit of changes. I suppose our colleagues did see the changes with more of a shift towards the fact that it's a prerequisite that the Rotary first negotiate with Benevolent Park and to establish their social contribution. So that is a very important prerequisite. And I just wanted to reiterate again that we're all aware of that. I think a large part of the worry is that Benevolent Park at this stage, there's various, not issues, but expenses and upgrades that need to be done, and we don't know if they will be able to afford it. In actual fact, that we've received letters from them and so forth asking for help. And so that is, and obviously it's to the detriment of poor and elderly people staying there, which is very worrying. So I just wanted that we also take note of that. I think that is very important. Obviously, this is only to go out for public participation, and obviously we can then receive feedback of how the community feel about this item as well. But from my side, it was just important that we also take note of that fact and that we also keep that in mind. For me, it's very important that we find ways how a social contribution can be made towards Benevolent Park.
Thank you, Alderman. I see hand of Councillor Lechaba. Councillor, did you forget to lower your hand?
I forgot to lower my hand. Sorry, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Lechaba. Councillor De Goos, for one last time. A few minutes for you.
Thank you, Speaker. I appreciate it. Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, it's not my intention to denigrate anybody. And if I have missed a reply, well, no, actually, that's the thing. I'd like to distinguish between a reply to an email and the answering of questions. Simply replying doesn't mean my questions have been answered. So if I have missed the specific answers which related specifically to Benevolent Park and how that whole procedure will work, those questions, to the very best of my knowledge, have not been answered, Speaker. So I will look through my work again today and I will resubmit those questions, but would really appreciate a reply, not just a reply, but answered questions. Thank you, Speaker.
Councillor, yeah, and in the meantime, you can go through the code of conduct as well, please. Then the next one, Axinos Emin.
Speaker, yes. Speaker, thank you for allowing me. I know that you are at the end of the item. If I may just make two remarks. One via you to Councillor Lechava. Councillor, I'll be a bit hesitant to take specific councillors to the area to show them, but should the request come via the portfolio chairperson, then obviously our officials will gladly accompany councillors and show them the area. But if we can just have that request via the portfolio chairperson. As to the amount and the interest on the amount, Speaker, through you, the item is not specific whether it will bear interest, but as the item is stating, it is an item for public comment. Any councillor will also be able to comment in the public comment period. So if it should be a requisite of that the amount should bear interest, then I think it is some of those type of comments that we'll really appreciate. It might have been that we overlooked it. I can't see anything in the item itself. Thank you, Speaker. Sorry, Speaker. And then also, if you'll allow me, just if there's any clarity from the councillors, put up a meeting with the officials, and we will really try. I know my diary is very full, but we will try to accommodate and give clarity where necessary. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, MM. Councillor Lechaba, you will then be the last one.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, let me say it again. In almost all our planning committee meetings, we ask the committee chair to organize trips to go and go to these areas where this alienation is taking place. I hope I know that the Councillor Payman is here and is the chairperson of that committee. Can you confirm what I'm saying, that we've been discussing this in our committees, so that it cannot be now as if it's a new thing we bring to the fore today, please.
Thank you, Councillor. The MM made a promise and he'll definitely stand by his promises. We can look at it whenever we do have the same thing in a committee. Please ask the committee or the chair to set up a meeting and that we can have a look on what we're talking about. Even if you want to do it before the meeting, I would rather think that will be the better option. That when we come to a meeting, we know what we saw, and yeah, then that will be much easier. Thank you, councillors, for that one. I want to carry on then. Tisha. E62 then carries through as an unanimous vote. Thank you, councillors, for helping me out on this one. And then I'm at E63 of 03-2021. It's another alienation of earth 5176, situated at the corner of Cedar and Melkout Street, Hyderabad, Mossel Bay, by means of a tender process, and that's for public participation as well. Can I have a proposer and a seconder that this one can table this one?
Yes, Speaker, I would like to propose item E63 for approval.
63 is being proposed by Alderman Cliffy Bayman. Do I have a seconder?
Yes, Speaker, Madam Tannemeyer, who second.
Thank you, Councillor Marilyn Kallemeyer. She will be in the seconder. Is there anyone else on it? Any discussions on it? As I said, there will be a public participation process, and this will come back to Council again in due time. Then thank you, councillors. E63 then carries through as an unanimous vote. I'm at E64. Application to lease a portion of Earth 5009, plus minus 3,400 square meters, situated at Charles Street, Great Black River, by means of a tender process. Can I ask for a proposer and a seconder on E64?
As a speaker, I propose. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Alton Delamain. Seconder?
I will second the item, Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Cliffy Bayman. Is there anyone against it? Only hear a cough and then there's no one against it. E63 then carries through as an unanimous vote. E65, please. Thank you. E65 proposed amendments to the Mossel Bay Municipality bylaw on municipal land use planning 2015 and the Mossel Bay Municipality Integrated Zoning Scheme bylaw. It was by Mrs. Olga Roux. Can I have a proposer and a seconder that we can put this to the table?
Yes, Speaker, I propose.
Proposed by Alderman Cliffy Bayman. Do I have a seconder?
Yes, thank you, Speaker. I would like to second that, and I would also like to congratulate the very comprehensive and scientific work that had been done for this bylaw to be amended as such. It's keeping up with the times and the history and the development of our town. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alderman Groenewald. Any discussions or anyone against? Yeah, then I don't see any more hands. Then what was it? E65 carries through as an unanimous vote. Thank you very much, Councillor. Kisha, you can go up. E66. E66, Municipal Contractor Development Program by Mrs. Glenn Harding. Do I have a proposer and a seconder that we can table this one?
Yes, Speaker, I would like to propose E66 for approval. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Cliffy Bayman, the proposer. Do I have a seconder? I see a hand of Alderman Terkotsia.
Speaker, I would gladly second, and I also want to commend the administration and McGard Harding who wrote the item. I think this is much needed. I know a lot of work went into this, but yeah, so thank you very much. We appreciate it, and hopefully this will help our smaller contractors and so forth in town to also get involved and to get part or be part of our economy. Thank you.
Thank you. I think it's a worthy cause. Thank you very much, proposer and seconder. Anyone against it? Councillor Gous, I see your hand.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I commend the municipality on the actions that they've taken in order to assist contractors in our area to be competitive. However, there are a couple of concerns, and I would really appreciate it if the motivation could be given in council as to why women specifically should receive preference in being, excuse nou sukkel ek met my Engels, but being preferred to take part, to be part of the contractor development program. And then the other concern that I have is that if I look at the document, we're looking at Black-owned businesses receiving priority. The ACDP's employment equity policy has stated for the last 2 years now that disadvantaged persons should receive preference, and they have not attached a cultural group to that. So that is a concern to the ACDP, that we're attaching a cultural group, particularly, Speaker, in a province where the majority of residents are from the First People Nation, which is the Brown population group. If we could just have an explanation of how that will work, I would appreciate it before we, otherwise I would have to abstain on the item, but I would like some kind of an explanation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I can give you answer, but I rather ask the MM to give his answer, and then I will go to Karel Venter and Alderman Kotze, and I hand this up as well. MM?
Yeah, Speaker, with so many hands, I wonder if I should give the answer, but my answer obviously will be from a legal side. Obviously, our constitution referred to designated groups, and the designated groups is then defined in the Preferential Procurement Framework Act, and that includes women, and that includes exactly that what we discussed in the item: women, youth, people with disabilities, military veterans, and so forth. And we're actually just complying with current national legislation. So as an administration, we that is what we do. Unfortunately, we cannot follow anything else than what is imposed on us by national legislation. That includes the Constitution, the Preferential Procurement Framework. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, MM. Is there anyone else that want to reply on it? There's no more hands. Then I don't receive anyone against. I then this E66, Councillor Gouds.
Apologies. Yes, my apologies for interrupting you, Speaker. I would like to abstain on this item. Thank you.
Yeah. Then the E66. E66 carries through with unanimous vote, with the exception of the ACDP, Councillor Gouds.
Thank you,
Next
Speaker.
one, Tertia. E67, status report, disposal of lease of municipal properties, and that is municipal property related issues. I think if you went through it and you made it your own, so can I have a proposer and a seconder for the tabling of E67?
I propose, Speaker, Councillor Leon van Dijk.
Thank you, Councillor van Dijk. Proposed by Councillor Leon van Dijk. Do I have a seconder for this one?
I second to that, Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Thabo Mvumvu. I see a hand of Councillor Gouds again. Councillor Gouds.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, according to the item, point 8.9 of the Council Resolution in 2019, regarding Kenhout and Buckenhout, that section of ground there, I've noticed that we've now changed that to, or part of the proposal there is to develop business sites. I'm trying to understand the desirability of that, though, in the middle of that residential area. It's already, in my opinion, we have enough business coverage, and now with the new development that's going to happen on Cedar and Malcote Street, why do we want to take business development right into the heart of the residential area in Heiderrand?
You might have seen, Councillor, that it's issues, and many people have tried to do business in the hills. That's where I live, and they didn't last very long. So the little shops that was open turned into flats quick after they've opened it. So I think what you said about business sites is quite worthy, but this is issues, and we can see what is coming from it. I don't think there will be many people that want to invest in businesses seeing that it is part of the town that's a sleep town and it's not for businesses. But I take cognizance of what you said. Is there anyone else? No one else? Then E67 carries through as an unanimous vote. Next one, please. E68 parking policy for Mossel Bay CBD. Those of us who grew up in Mossel Bay, and since then we've got a parking problem in Mossel Bay. Now we've got a policy, and I want a proposer and a seconder on this E68, please.
Speaker, if I might go, I would like to.
You can go. Sorry, Alderman. I haven't seen your hand. You can proceed.
Thank you, Speaker. I would gladly propose, and also want to thank Director Venter and his department for the work that went in here. I do believe that this changes might bring change in town and will unlock further development. So thank you very much for this.
Thank you, Alderman Kotze. Do I have a seconder for that?
Thank you, Speaker. I will gladly second it.
Thank you. Proposed and seconded. Anyone against? Then there's no one against it. It will go carry through as an unanimous vote. Thank you very much, councillors. I'm at E69, alienation of a portion of earth 9264 situated at Granta Road, extension 13 Mossel Bay. Abide with my pronunciation, Misitane Cres. Do I have a proposer and a seconder on this one? The alienation of a portion of that earth?
Speaker, ek stel so voor.
Voorgestel deur Raadsdame Anolia Fortuin. Dankie, Raadsdame. Do I have a seconder for that one?
Second to that, Speaker. Thank you.
It's been seconded by Councillor Thabo Mvumvu. Is there anyone against?
Speaker,
I see a hand
another against the item.
Just 1 second. I see a hand of Alderman Kotze and I see a hand of Councillor Gous. Councillor Gous, you've got the floor.
Thank you, Speaker. Thank you, Speaker. I'm not against the item. I'd just like some clarity. I don't argue that a creche in the area is beneficial to the community. I just don't understand how our municipality is deciding what is beneficial, because we are selling this at 10% of its value, which is 30,800 Rand, and we're doing a direct alienation. So there's no tender involved. Yet a couple of items further, we have also an alienation of an earth of 160 square meters for someone to erect garages, also no tender involved. But in Sonskynfully, where a church has asked for ground, the alienation has to go through a tender process. I did request answers on how this is determined, so I would appreciate if we can just be given some clarity on how we determine whether an alienation will be a direct alienation to the person that's requesting purchase, and how we decide, no, we're going to actually put it out on tender. Because in my opinion, both a church and a creche are beneficial to the community. Any worship group would be beneficial to a community. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Gous. Is there anyone who want to answer on that? Thank you very much.
Speaker, yes, it is a policy matter that actually still needs to come to council. Up to now, Mossel Bay Municipality disposed of urban that's in the public interest at the 10% of the market value. Now, let me rephrase. I can understand the principle in respect of creches. Because in respect of creches, the Constitution very specifically obliges the local government to avail creches, not to operate them, but to ensure that there are enough creches. So it is our responsibility to ensure that there's enough creches, and the Therefore, it flows that it should be then regarded as in the public interest, because it is a municipal function, and we sort of are obliged. It's a constitutional obligation. In respect of churches, though, in the past, we also had this concession of only 10% of market value, but that is not a municipal function. Firstly, it's not a municipal function. Secondly, we also know that according to our infrastructure report, there is an over supply of churches in the bigger Mossel Bay area. So that is something that I requested that we relook at, purely because we cannot afford to fund functions that are not municipal functions. I know that Treasury also warned us against unfunded mandates, and therefore I requested that we relook that policy so that we can only do what is our function and not take up other functions. Thank you, Speaker. I hope I've answered to a certain extent, but obviously, as I say, it's still something to be discussed, but it's a policy matter.
Thank you, MM. Are you satisfied, everyone? If I don't hear anything, then
Speaker.
Councillor
Thank you,
Gous, I want you to, when you speak, please speak once. I cannot open the floor for you every time, 2 or 3 times. Otherwise, I don't go by my own code of conduct. This will be then the last one. From now on, I will give you 1 chance only. Thank you, Councillor. You can proceed.
I understand. Thank you, Speaker. Just regarding clarity on my question and the reply received. Thank you, MM, via you, Speaker. However, the question that I asked about how we decide whether an item will be alienated directly to a purchaser or will go out on tender, that was not answered. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much. I want E69 then carries through as anonymous vote. Next one, please, Tertia. E70. Proposed amendment of deed of sale of 3079 Kwanunga, Mossel Bay Municipality. What is it? Mossel Bay Municipality Ethiopian order. That's a church again. I see the hand of Councillor Thabo Mvumvu for proposal.
Thank you,
Is there anyone
Speaker.
else proposed? Proposed by Thabo Mvumvu. Can I have a seconder?
I second, Speaker.
Councillor Alexa. Above my head, I have
I
three.
second, Speaker.
Thank you very much. It's been seconded all around the show. Was that Councillor Malombo? Was it you?
Julia.
Okay, Julia. Julia het dan gesecondeerd. Dankie. Is there anyone else? Sorry for the confusion. In 17 carries through as a unanimous vote. I am at 71. E71 proposed alienation of a portion of Earth 20729 situated adjacent to Earth 20730 Camel Street, Alma Park, extension 23, and it's a small piece of land. It's 160 squares, and the buyer is CS Apollos. Can I have a proposer and a seconder for this one?
Speaker, I support the item.
Has been
Speaker, I
supported
second
as
it.
proposed by Councillor Rusina. It's been rated and it's been seconded by Councillor. Can you come again?
Boyson.
Was it Boyson? Thank you. Anyone else? If there's no one else, E71 carries through as unanimous vote. Thank you, councillors. I'm at E72, Tertia. Alienation of Earth 4561, approximately 1040 squares, situated at Havenga Street, Sonskyn Valley, Hartenbos, by means of a tender process. It's been mentioned by Councillor Gous. I see a hand, Councillor Groenewald.
Thank you, Speaker. I propose that we adopt the recommendation as formulated. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alderman Groenewald. Do I have a seconder?
Yes, Speaker, I will support the proposal of Alderman Groenewald.
Thank you very much. It's been proposed and seconded by Alderman Cliffy Byman. And then there's the hand of Councillor Gous and the hand of MM. I think Councillor Gous, I'll give you the floor at first, and then the MM can answer on that one.
Thank you, Speaker. It becomes really difficult because now in my previous in the previous item, I asked 2 questions. Only one was answered, but then I'm not allowed to follow up. So it makes it very difficult. So I'm going to make this question very specific and very clear. If I could please have a direct answer on this question. I understand the MM said we are busy developing policy, which I understand is probably what is contributing to the confusion in me understanding when this municipality decides to alienate a property via tender or a direct alienation. Currently, what criteria has the municipality been using to determine when they will alienate urban directly or when they will decide to alienate and put it out on tender, despite the fact that there's been interest from one specific party only? Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Gous. MM?
Yeah, Councillor, sorry, Speaker, I thought that I would answer the other question on this one. So that was why my hand was up. Usually what happens is we know that when we get inquiries, there's usually interest. And when there's more than one inquiry in respect of a certain portion, we rather put it out on tender. Obviously, if there's not interest, the property has been lying for years after the area has been developed, and someone comes, we sort of sure that no one else is interested. But the moment that we get inquiries, we know that there might be more than one possible buyer for the property, and therefore we go out on tender in order to give everyone an equal chance. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, MM. I don't see any hands, then it carries through as an unanimous vote. It was E72. Tertia, gaan aan asseblief. E7303-2021. Afrikaans music concert on the 29th of December 2021 at the Van Riebeeck Stadium. If COVID doesn't overrule us again, but at first this is E73. Can I have a proposer and a seconder for this one? I see a hand of Alderman Groenewald, and I see a hand
Thank
of
you,
Deputy.
Speaker. Thank you, Speaker. I would like to propose that we adopt the recommendation, but we all know it's subject to COVID or whatever other regulations that we will have to, or that everyone will have to adhere to at that stage in time. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Alderman. Do I have a seconder?
Thank you, Speaker. I second.
Deputy, seconded by the Deputy Mayor. Is there anyone else?
Yes, Speaker.
Okay,
ACDP Councillor.
Councillor Gous, sorry, I didn't hear you.
Not a problem. Speaker, I have 2 questions regarding this. Firstly, these, as far as I can tell, are individual people, Dudley Woolridge, Gip van Zyl and Mimi van Stone, that are arranging this festival for the benefit of their own pocket. It's not to benefit an NGO, it's not to benefit any other individual except themselves. It seems like a profit-making event from what I can read. So I'm surprised that they are requesting so many free services from the municipality, including not even wanting to pay rental for the Van Riebeeck Stadium. And the fact that the municipality is entertaining this idea is concerning to me, particularly also the request that no permission be given to anyone else for a music festival. This is completely contrary to our constitution, which allows for free and transparent competition with regards to endeavors. So if we could have an explanation, Speaker, on why we are willing to forego revenue for an individual company that is making profit for their own pocket. I understand that this municipality is going to say, yes, but we're going to have people visiting and so on. That's irrelevant. These three people are making profit for their own pocket, and I want to know why we are assisting them with free services, or the proposal is that we assist them with free services and free use of the Van Riebeeck Stadium. Because once again, Speaker, sorry, nothing is free. Residents are paying for the cost of law enforcement. Residents are paying for electricity. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Gous. And I see a hand of MM. MM, just 1 second, please. I saw a hand of Councillor Lichaba. Maybe we can give him a chance and then you can answer them both of that. Councillor Lichaba?
Sorry, Speaker, I'm gonna lower my hand because Councillor Gous already made mention of what I would have said. So I concur with it.
Thank you, Councillor. MM?
First time.
Speaker, thank you. Yeah, as normal, I would actually prefer these questions to come to us beforehand. Speaker, yes, we all know that we actually want to attract these type of events to Mossel Bay. These are events gets people into Mossel Bay, and that is what we want. If we've got more people coming into the town and spending some money, I hope they sleep over, but even if they only eat here, it is money that's not in our economy, that comes into our economy, and that is what we need. Therefore, our proposal is that we should support these type of events. But Speaker, it is also true that these type of events, we actually want to build a long-term relationship with these people. In that we need to build a long-term relationship, because in the first 2 years there will not be a profit to these people that host the event. Normally, it's only from the third year that there's any profit, and then they have to recover quite a number of losses. As to the permission, I think it's 11 that's been referred to. That permission only be granted for the hosting of the event during December 21, and that the future will be reconsidered. There's no ban on any other events, but it is true that these guys will need time to build up, and they will need time to break down. So obviously we will not be able to entertain another event in the time when they build up or break down. So that was the reason why there was sort of notice that we cannot entertain 2 events at the same time. Speaker, that's what I can answer. I think that we try to get the economy going, we get the money flowing, but more specifically, we want money to flow in, or we want visitors to come into Mossel Bay and spend a bit of money. Sorry, I know that you might say, but there's a lot of visitors anyway. But even if we can get a bit more, it's even better. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Mim. I see a hand of Deputy Mayor Kotze. Deputy.
Speaker, thank you. Yes, from my side, we also had a debate in our caucus, and it is important that we say to each other, we lost obviously a lot of income due to tourism. We are very worried. We are very concerned about the lack of international tourists and the detrimental effect of that currently on our economy in Mossel Bay. It is really detrimental. There's some businesses standing closed for a year now. So it's very important that we do enhance or make use of each and every opportunity that we can possibly muster to get people into our town. And this will be local tourists. Obviously, we don't know at this stage if we will be open for international tourists by December. So at this stage, that was one of the arguments within our caucus. It's very important that we do keep that in mind. We do compete with other coastal towns, and it's important that from Mossel Bay side, people do come here. Yes, we do have a beautiful town, we have beautiful beaches, we have a proper municipal system and services, but they also come here because there's activities and events, and we must stay on the ball. At this stage, we can also tell each other that this company will have extensive risk in terms of the fact that they now need to go to artists and go close deals with these artists, which cost a lot of money. Obviously, your top artists that you want to use for the attraction of a lot of tourists, they cost money. And the risk is that you might close a deal without being able to have income. So that was some of the arguments that we looked at. And yeah, so that's why we agreed on that it's important to have this event. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Deputy. I see a hand of Councillor Lichaba.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Speaker, economy is it's one of the pillars of how to run the country and even the municipality. Without economy, we can be in danger. You see, Speaker, when you have events of this nature and you allow like these companies logistical problems that we as a municipality have to support them, it becomes a problem. Because tomorrow there's so many artists out there that are also willing to come here, but they can't afford. Now there's not even a policy that states that A, B, and C should happen. Now because is this individuals now must be given must be given free stadiums, whatever, because of economy. No. Beaches already is attracting without even music concert. Concert cannot bring economy back. It's a 2 or 3 or 5 hour thing. Now what I'm saying is we need a policy so that tomorrow we don't cry foul. Tomorrow we don't say, but this one favors that one. Otherwise, it's going to be suspicious. That we're going to be suspicious as to why now this company. Because it's African view. We're diverse community in Mossel Bay. You know, we're not Africans only, and there are a lot of activities that can happen. For instance, if just an example, if you want to go and get a hall, whatever you have to pay. That's what we know. But there's a policy that states that if you want to hire a hall, you must pay. If you need to use municipal hall, you must pay. So this individual, if really it was an NGO and these people were fundraising to help this COVID or whatever, or in any other activity, would have at least listened. But these are individuals, and there's no policy that can support us in this one. So please, can we think about that? That's how our caucus feels.
Thank you, Councillor Chaba. I see a hand of Councillor Groenewald, and then after Councillor Groenewald, that will be the deputy again. Alderman Groenewald.
Thank you, Speaker. Thank you for the opportunity, Speaker. Yes, I think we know now that the Minister Manager also referred to the 11th recommendation. And the way I understand that, if you read that permission only be granted for the hosting of the event in December 2021. If you move the word only to the figure after the figure 2021, that is the way I understand it. So it's not the future, and future events will be reconsidered. So the permission is granted for December 2021 only. It's not that it's the only event, but it's only for December 2021. That's the way I understand that recommendation. Thank you, Speaker.
Tertia, please take note of point 11, and we can have a discussion on that afterwards as well. Alderman Kotze.
Speaker, thank you. I just want to add that I think what's been asked is not the first time. With all of our other festivals, we normally contribute in some or other way. That's I think why people love to come here and obviously we reap the benefits of that. So there's always some sort of a cost to get somebody in our town. The Jazz Festival, for instance, with other major events as well, we always help from our side with specific maybe services or with traffic helping out somewhere, or even if it's just bins and so forth. So I would just like to state that it's only not just for this Afrikaans show that's something totally different that's happening now. We do help all major events normally in maybe in more or lesser ways, but we do normally help and take their hands so that they come to our town.
Thank you, Deputy. Is there anyone else on this?
Speaker. Morning,
Ek
Speaker.
luister. Raadslid kies tog ek het nie iemand gesien nie. Jy kan
So,
aangaan,
Speaker, thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I also disagree with this whole thing. I think we must not allow this because in future we can't say no. So I will also not even if they pay 10 rand, at least they pay. But I think we disagree with that and with this item, and we mustn't allow this now in the first place, because tomorrow we can't stop this thing. Thank you, Speaker.
Speaker, can I also come in?
Or is it a proposal, Councillor?
Speaker?
Sorry, Speaker.
Can I also come in?
Councillor Comfort, I said, is it a proposal or is it only a way
It's a proposal.
what you think? It's a proposal.
It's
Do I
a
have
proposal.
second
It's a
for the
proposal,
proposal of Councillor, sorry, Comfort?
Now, come. Speaker.
Councillor Bandesi, you've got the floor.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I assume that I'm not talking for Councillor Kamfa, but I assume Councillor Kamfa is also arguing on the same sentiments that we have also argued that we should not allow this to happen without there being a policy. Remember, Mr. Speaker, this thing will mean we, as Deputy Mayor said, we have supported other events, and those events that we supported were events that were also fundraising for charity. Those are the events that we supported because there was a fundraising for charity, and they would be giving part of what is accumulated for charity. This one has got no charity involved. It's just individuals for their own profit. We do not want, you see, the mentioning of Africans is from our side. We do not want to be seen as a council that is prepared to go and give individuals even support, free things and everything just because of a particular language that is being promoted. Mr. Speaker, even in KwaNongaba as we speak, there are events organizers that organize events for the people. Even those people that often come here, some of them come even from George Floatson, they come to events here. Never were they given for free. So if we are saying today, as from today, after this one, all events that come to Mossel Bay or all events that are organized by people will also be given the same benefits as this one, then maybe that will be on those bases that would support this. You see, Mr. Speaker, because here we are creating a precedent that we will not be able to sustain. Hence, the Speaker, I mean, the Chief Whip of the ANC has said, let's first have a policy and craft a policy, and all our decisions should be based on a policy. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Can I ask you a question, Councillor Bandesi? Are you supporting the proposal that was made by Councillor Comfort? Otherwise, I cannot put it to the vote.
Speaker, I'm supporting the proposal that people must pay, as Councillor Kamfa has said, also as our Chief Whip has said, that there should be a policy in place. That's what we are saying. we should not work without a policy. Let's first have a policy. Then it will be that policy, that financial policy. It will form part of the financial policies of this council, and that policy will be directing us as to how do we deal with this, because this has got financial implications to council. We have already indicated that, I think the municipal manager has indicated in future, before, that this council is in financial problems because of COVID. But here we are, and we went as far as this council went as far, or this municipality went as far as to cut electricity off people in the community.
Councillor, no, that's not on the table.
Now we are giving free people electricity.
I asked you if you second it, and that's all. And thank you very much, Councillor. I see the hand of the MM.
Speaker, thank you for allowing me to speak a second time on this item. Speaker, yes, I hear the plea for policy on this, but I plea with council to approve the item as is, and that the policy follow. These people need to do a lot of arrangements, and it might seem a long way to December, but it is not that long if you've got all these logistics to arrange. So that we can perhaps approve this policy and this item, and that we agree that the policy should follow. That is just a plea from my side. Obviously, I cannot make any recommendation.
Thank you, MM. I've had a proposal for and a proposal against, and that's been seconded. So I have to put it to the test. I want us to vote, and I'll read out your name as we usually do. And you said yes or no, or you said for or against. I'll start with Deputy Mayor. For or against?
For, Speaker.
For, thank you. Myself, for. Councillor Baron. Councillor Baron, for or against? When I hear nothing, I made it an abstention. Councillor Bayman.
In support, Speaker.
In support. Councillor Barbelo.
Against the Speaker.
Against, thank you. Councillor Boyson.
For it, Speaker.
For it, dankie. Councillor Buddha.
Against, Speaker.
Against. Councillor Delamain.
For dit, Speaker. Baie dankie.
Councillor de Klerk.
For, Speaker.
For. Councillor Vivas.
Against, Speaker.
Against. Councillor Fortuin.
I'm for it, Speaker.
For it. Councillor Gous.
Speaker, thank you. I'm not going to vote yes or no on this item because it's not a simple binary solution. I think it's a complicated matter, and therefore I'm going to ask you to note my abstention. Speaker, I'd like to list three reasons. Thank you, Speaker. May I now list my 3 reasons for abstention?
No, it's not necessary.
That I would like. It's not necessary, Speaker, but as an opposition councillor, I will request that my reasons be minuted.
Councillor, I'm busy with the voting. I'll give you a chance afterwards.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Groenewald.
Thank you, Speaker. I'm absolutely for it. And one of the reasons being is that I trust my municipal manager to apply his discretion, and I've got full trust in his capability of doing that.
Let's park that one first, please. That's it, Annie Jansen van Rensburg.
Thank you, Speaker. I'm for it.
For it. Kamfer, you said you were against it. Kannemeyer?
Yes, Speaker.
For, Speaker.
For. Councillor Chaba, you against it, I suppose? You talked about it. Councillor Bandesi, you against it as well? Councillor Malombo?
Against, Speaker.
Against, thank you, Councillor. Councillor Meyer?
For it, Speaker.
Thank you. Councillor Mvumvu?
I'm for it, Speaker. Thank you.
For it. Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Reiters.
I'm for it, Speaker.
For it. Councillor Siyoko.
I'm for it, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor van Dijk.
For, Speaker.
Councillor Cedric Jansen. Councillor Cedric Jansen. We haven't read your name this morning as well. So, absent, please. Councillors, I'll give you the tally just now.
Sorry.
Kan ek nie getal kry?
Chairperson.
Just 1 second, please.
I'm not absent.
Councillors, the for is 15, against 7, and abstentions is 2. It's 15 to 9, then it carries through with a majority of votes. Councillor Gous, you said you want to put your queries on the table, and afterwards I've silenced Alderman Groenewald. I'll give him a chance as well. Councillor Gous.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I'd like to have my abstention noted with the following reasons. Firstly, this is a for-profit company and not an NGO. It's also going to be subsidized by ratepayers and service consumers in our town via even those that buy prepaid electricity, there's a cost involved or calculated into the cost of the electricity is the availability and so on. So they're paying for a service, and that monies are now being used to subsidize in the form of revenue forgone, but also in the form of direct costs to this municipality, electricity and so on. And then thirdly, my biggest reason, and I heard what the MM said about the competition, no competition being held on those grounds. That's actually not what the item says. To the best of my recollection, the item says that no competition
Speaker.
will be granted.
Speaker.
Councillor Chaba, let's hear first. Councillor Gous, go on, please. I'll come back to you, Chaba.
Thank you. My third reason is that thank you, Speaker. The third reason being the fact that I think it's unfair competition, excluding others from the possibility of even hosting an event in December an event of this nature. And then I'd like to just distance myself completely from the language issue that has been dragged in here. It's got absolutely nothing to do with the artists, the language the artists are going to sing in. It's about a constitutional issue that I feel we are transcribing. Thank you, Speaker. I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you, Councillor Gous. Yours has been noted. I see a hand of Councillor Chaba. I don't want to open him after the tally was given to you.
Speaker.
Councillor Chaba, one short note, and then Alderman Kotze.
Yes, Speaker. Speaker, this item, we discussed it, and we came to a point that we go for a vote. Everyone was given an opportunity. When you go to vote, it's either you say yes or no, or you abstain. Now, there is no way you can say, I say no, I've got reasons. It means it was unfair from others that just said no and voted after their discussions. It means we must be given an opportunity again to give reasons as to why we say we speak of policy and what have you. So I'm appealing to you, Speaker. Let's not allow situations of this to occur like this, because it's unfair and wrong. You vote. When you vote, you don't argue. Because your arguments were heard before the voting time. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. You're right, Councillor Petrus. I just want to conclude. I had a hand with with Councillor Kotze, and then with that, I'll conclude the conversations.
Speaker, thank you. I just want to agree with Councillor Kaba. After we debated, Councillor Gous now on one side it gave a lot of arguments against without keeping the pros in consideration, and that's exactly why we need to debate it then again. So yeah.
Thank you, councillors. I did when I silenced Councillor Gous, I said to her she can put 3 reasons on the board, and that's what she did. So I'm going on with the next number. There will be no discussion on this one. Thank you. We will go on. Carlin.
Speaker, my apologies, just on a point of order, Speaker, please. On a point of order.
That's not a point of order. My ruling was we finished with this one.
I'd like to just tell you what my point of order is, Speaker. I would just like to, Speaker, may I just...
Councillor Gous, you had your chance. There's no point of order. I want to go on, and I'm at E7403-2021. Secondment to the George Municipality Plans Assessor, NB Martin.
I'll propose, Speaker.
Being proposed by Alderman Kotze. Do I have a seconder?
Speaker, I second it. Nicholas Boyce seconded.
Nicholas Boyce seconded. Anyone against? No one against it. Then the E74 carry through as unanimous vote. Next one, please. Councillor Gous, please. Will you want me to mute or will you mute yourself, please?
Speaker, we are on item E74, if I'm correct. May I speak?
We finished that. We're at E75, Mossel Bay Municipality Energy Independence.
Speaker, my hand was up, Speaker.
I've made a ruling, Councillor. We're at E75.
Speaker, this is grossly unfair. You are allowing me fair representation.
If you were in the meeting this afternoon, I would ask you to leave. So please abide with the rules. That's a prerogative of the Speaker to rule his meetings on his own. So please mute yourself, and I want to go on. I'm at E75, Mossel Bay Municipality Energy Independence.
Outrageous.
Do I have a seconder and a supposer on E75?
Speaker, I would gladly propose, and like I've mentioned also in our opening remarks, thank you also to MM for the work that went into this item. Some of the other colleagues also helped, and especially also Director Naidu. So yeah, thank you for the work that went into this.
Thank you, Alderman Kotze. It was geslopt. I was in a hurry, it seems to me. We go back to 74. 75. 75, is that the one you proposed, Deputy?
Speaker, yes.
Thank you very much.
The energy independence one, Speaker.
Yes, and I seconded it, Speaker. Thanks.
Before you second that, I've just per hand received a recommendation to council, and sorry for that one. Alderman Kotze, will you please go through the recommendations? That seems to me there might be some alterations made.
Yes, there's some small alterations to the recommendation. Thank you, Speaker. So just at point 2, if we look at the recommendations, if we can go to 2, that council's vision in respect of electricity supply is to be independent from Eskom by 2030. This was the previous point 4 of the recommendation. And then point 3, that the municipality conducts a feasibility study in terms of the Electricity Regulations Act to procure or buy new generation capacity of not higher than 1 megawatt. And higher than 1 megawatt to the municipality, and that the reports be tabled to council in this regard. This is a new point. Then the council, point 4, that council accepts that this is the start of a lengthy process and that more items will follow as the model is rolled out. That was the previous point 3 only renumbered, and then point 5, that regarding IPPs for more than 1 megawatt, council accept that the proposals in this report will be followed. That was the previous point 2 of the recommendations. Speaker, I have got this in print, so I will also give it through to admin.
Thank you very much, Alderman Kotze. And I had Anton de Lemaine that said he will second it. You still hold the same meaning? Then it's proposed and it's seconded. On E75, the floor is open now, and I see hands of Councillor Lechaba.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Speaker, I don't have a problem with this because it was approved by the government. But just to refresh my mind and seek clarity on after that, I think last year there was a consultant that was hired by the municipality to investigate the possibilities of whether the municipality can be able to generate its own electricity, whatever, something like that. And the last time I don't know, but the last time I checked, it never came back again and gave us feedback. And I saw on TV the 6 municipalities that will have their own, generate their own electricity. Today, the item is here on the table. Now, my question is to you, Speaker. I'm worried if you go that route, of which I don't have a problem with that, how is it going to affect the indigents? We must remember the indigents are getting subsidized by the national government on that with the 50 units, what have you. So how is it going to affect them now if we buy our own, if the municipality wants its own electricity? Is it going to carry on again, what have you? And secondly, if we're going to be totally out of ESCOM, we want it in 2030, does it mean even if there's no electricity, maybe our generators or whatever you are using to get electricity will be at fault? We won't go and buy from ESCOM. And that just needs clarity on those ones. And secondly, I want to understand how is this process going on? Because it's already out there that Stellenbosch, Mossel Bay, Drakenstein, and others are gonna follow 6 of them, the municipalities. Now I see in the recommendation 5 that the MM, there's a recommendation that says the MM has to notify the national treasurer and the provincial treasurer. Don't you think this is a little bit funny or suspicious? What's going on? I think before we went to the media, we would have informed this recommendation 5 as per recommendation 5. I just seek clarity on those bases, Speaker. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Chaba. I see the hand of our MM. MM, can you provide us with a little light on that one, please?
Speaker, I'll gladly do so. Thank you for the opportunity. Councillor Lechaba, very valid questions. Councillor, the consultant that you referred to, yes, I think that consultant, if we're talking about the same person, was actually working without being really appointed, doing voluntary work for us. But as that consultant is in the game of renewable energy himself, we said that we cannot really proceed with his investigation. In the meantime, the legislation changed. You will recall that in October last year, there was a substantial change in the legislation regarding renewable energy. Up to October 2020, municipalities were only allowed to generate up to 1 megawatts per site. Now, after October 2020, there's a change. Now, that change gave rise to this item, in that that change is very specific, that the procedure to be followed, or I call it the vehicle to be used, must be a public-private partnership. So I personally, I don't like the concept, but that is the only concept available. That there must be a partnership between the municipality and the private power producer. And that is what we're putting up at this stage. Now, once you go into a triple P, as we call it, you need to comply with a lot of legislation. There's specific legislation and regulations pertaining to a triple P. And that is where this item then comes in. The first thing you must do is when you consider a triple P, you must inform national and provincial treasury. So it's not as if I just want to inform them. It's legislation that forced me to inform them that we are considering a triple P. That is just to inform them so that they can start thinking if we're on the right track or not on the right track, and they should give advice. With the information, and then in order to follow a triple P, you need to appoint a transaction advisor. And that is also what this item is requesting, is that we may appoint a transaction advisor. It's not because we want to appoint it, but because legislation forces us to appoint someone like that. Then the regulation go further and say we must also appoint a transaction, and we must also put a business case. So now we need another consultant to do a business case on this in order to present that business case to Treasury, national and provincial, in order for them to consider the viability of such a step. Now, you will now see that there's a lot of legislation coming from national government in the regulations, and the mere fact that province has now sort of said that they will assist the 6 municipalities is very welcome, but that is sort of not it's welcome, and we incorporate that in the whole process. But that's not the start of the process. The start of the process was actually the change in regulations in October 2020 that made us think about these things. And now that we unpacked that regulations, we're in a position to come back to council and say, council, this is what we need to do. We need to appoint these consultants. We need to inform Treasury. And we will come back to you once we've got all these reports from the consultants and once we've got the comments from Treasury. But in the meantime, we will work closely with provincial government, the Department of Economic Development and Tourism. I've already engaged with them. I actually already put up a Teams meeting with them so that we can work together on this. I hope I've answered, Speaker.
Thank you, MM. I've had proposer and a seconder on E75. I had some questions. I don't have anyone against it. So my ruling is then that E75 carries through as unanimous vote with the alterations as was read by Alderman Kotse. Thank you, councillors. We go on to the next one. 76, Tertia. Commissioning of a drop-off site at Freemasheim on Earth 6/38. I think you went through it, and you've seen for yourself how many of those possibilities, it's not a possibilities, being on private earth. Can I have a proposer and a that we can go into the commissioning of a drop-off site? Proposer?
Thank you. Thank you, Speaker. I would like to propose item E76 of March 2021 for approval. Thank you.
Thank you. That was proposed by Councillor Alderman Cliffy Bayman. Do I have a seconder for that one?
Speaker, second. Thank you.
Thank you. Seconded by Older Lady Fortuin. Anyone else on it? No one against it, and it carries through as an unanimous vote. E76 of 03/2021. I want to take you to 77. E77 Amendment Agreement, Mossel Bay Municipality, R data. Pty Limited select Section 116 of the Local Government Municipal Finance Management Act, number 56 of 2003. I think we do business with them, and it's only to strengthen our arm. E77, can I have a proposer and a seconder on this one?
I'll propose, Speaker.
Proposed by Alderman Dirk Coetzee, Deputy Mayor. Do I have a seconder for that one?
Thank you, Speaker. I second. It's Councillor
Seconded by Councillor Annie Jansen van Rensburg. Anyone against? I hear absolute silence. Then E77 carries through as an unanimous vote. Thank you, councillors. Then just 1 second, please. Thank you, councillors, for being patient with me. I'm at 7-8. That's about our year-end report. And do I have a proposer and seconder that we can table the report, the tabling of the annual report?
Thank you, Speaker, if you allow me.
I will definitely allow you, Councillor.
Thank you, Speaker. Now, I really think when one reads through this report, one really, it makes us extremely proud and appreciative of the whole of our administration and the municipal manager that leads them in this regard. It's an excellent report. We will submit our comments because this is the tabling thereof on certain specific issues within that. I'm not going to explore any further on that, but let me just ask the Secretariat that the first paragraph should read that Council takes cognizance of the tabling of the report. We will consider the report after it's gone through all the processes, but that the tabling of the annual report of the municipality for the financial year to the end of June 23 be noted. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Alderman Groenewald. Do I have a seconder on the annual report, the tabling thereof?
Speaker, Councillor Meyer will second it.
Seconded by Councillor Meyer. Councillors, I suppose any one of you have read through it. I see a hand of Councillor Gous. Councillor Gous, you've got the floor.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, may I say that the ACDP also notes with thanks a very comprehensive report. I have requested a hard copy, and then I would also just like to remind the Impact Chair and the administration that other councillors would welcome an invitation to the Impact Committee when they consider the report, that we are part of that meeting, not to speak at the meeting, but to hear what is discussed. And that the ACDP will submit questions regarding the annual report to the Impact Chair.
Thank you very much, Councillor. There will be hard copies available some in due time, and that will be in each office and in the libraries and so forth. So yeah, we will definitely have some of them printed after everything is done. Thank you very much, councillors. Then we can go to the last item. The last item will be of addition item open council meeting, and that's a Daytona Rally 2021, 22nd of May 2021, intercity racing Mossel base. And it's if you now turn back in time, you will notice that this was I think almost a year ago. It should have taken place in Mossel Bay, and then COVID came, and yeah, now the decision we made then and the dates that were stipulated then have changed, and with the changes, I want you to propose that we take cognizance of the proposals and put our stamp on it so that this event can go on. Thank you, councillors. Is there a proposer and a seconder on this one? I see a hand of the Deputy Mayor.
Speaker, thank you. I will propose.
Proposed by
Speaker, I
Alderman.
will second it.
Seconded by Councillor Nicholas Boyson. Anyone else? Then I say thank you for being patient for this long day, and we're at the end of our meeting. This meeting will be adjourned as from now. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Speaker.
Students. Vice Speaker.
Thank you, Speaker. Geseënde dag almal.
Raadslid Dallemein en raadslid Meyer moenie vanaand se wijkskomitee vergadering vergeet nie asseblief.
Ons is geëerd DKD met u teenwoordigheid. Al is dit nou op WhatsApp.
As ook raadslid Vipasa, Councillor Vipasa, your meeting tonight as well. Ward 3's meeting.